Hi, in this lesson we are going to talk about the Gypsy Jazz accompaniment, La Pompe, and about a very interesting and important question I got from one of the students of my complete La Pompe course. She has noticed that when she's trying to play La Pompe over chords with only 4 strings or only 5 strings, it's very hard for her not to play over the 6th or the 5th string that are not related and to stop them from ringing, because when we play La Pompe we usually hit all the strings. So in this lesson we are also going to talk about how to hit only the strings you want when playing La Pompe. For example, the progression over a 6th chord. Alright? If I play it over 5th strings, I don't want my 6th string to be ringing. The same when I'm playing over only 4 strings. So we'll talk about this, but first we must go back to the basics and make sure we are on the same track. So let's talk about the basics of La Pompe before we talk about how to hit only the strings that you want. So in general we have 2 types of La Pompe. We have the traditional La Pompe that you can hear in Django Reinhardt recordings when they use the upstrokes almost all the time. And you have the modern La Pompe, which a lot of the young guys today play, which is with only downstroke. Alright, so both versions, with the upstroke and without the upstroke, they share the same downstrokes. So let's start by working on the downstrokes on the modern La Pompe that you use only downstrokes, because they are very, very important, and it's very important to have a distinguished sound for each one of them. So if we have a bar of 4 bars, 4 quarters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, we want the 1 and the 3 to have a chord with a short sustain, something like that, and we want the 2 and 4, that we also call the slap, to have a shorter sustain, which sound like that. You hear the difference between the sound of the first downstroke and the sound of the second. There are 2 things that I do different. One, for the slap, I also use my wrist as a whip. I also involve my nail. Now you can see more clearly that when I hit the strings, I also involve this part of the nail. So we talked about 2 things, the whip and the nail, that gives the crisp sound. But there is another thing about the sustain. We said that the first stroke is short and the slap is shorter. I get the shorter sound by playing the chord half muted. So it's not compute muted. When it's compute muted, you don't hear the pitch change when I move my hand across the fretboard, right? So it's a little bit, you have a little bit pitch. You see, there is a pitch, but it's half muted. So you hear the pitch, right? The pitch changes when I move my hand, but it's not like which has a short sustain. So you have short, shorter, short, shorter, short, shorter. This is the basic 2 downstroke that you have. Try to get used to it, and try to play it also when you change chords. Alright, this is the basic two movements, short and shorter. Now, when you want to add the traditional pump, you want to add the upstroke, you need to understand where the upstroke comes from. If you listen to drums, there are so you have 2 and 4 on your hi-hat, 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the right you have tan, 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 tan. This is the sweep. No, this is the swing. Ta, 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 ta are the quarters, and tan, tan, ta, tan. So there comes the swing, and the swing accent, ta-da, is very, far in the bar. It's not even ta 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 ta. No, it's ta 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 ta. You take it farther away to get a swing feel, and we get this with the upstroke. So ta 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 ta. It's the upstroke. Now, in the full course about La Pompe, I break it down into 8 steps, so you can have everything about the movement, about the upstroke, when the swing sits, about the sustain of the notes and everything. But here, let's make it easier for us and concentrate on 2 movements, and that's all. The first movement is up, down, and a quick jump up. The quick jump up is very important because it gives you the bouncing later on. When you play, it gives you feel, like bouncing and swinging. We also need to do the quick jump up when we play only downstroke. See, it's not symmetric. I jump before the sweep so I can be higher and have this whip in my wrist. So when we play the traditional pump, so as well, we need to play up, down, and a quick jump up. This is the first movement. Do it with me. And only then we have the slap, which is the same slap we had before. In the first movement, we have the first downstroke that we had before, which is short. Clean sound and short. And then we have the slap. So, all together. Let's do it over a major chord, G chord, and D. Now you need to make sure that you hit all the strings all the time, that you play the quick jump, and that your slap is shorter than your first downstroke. We are going to talk about how to hit only the strings that you want in a second. But before that, let's make sure that you know how to hit all the strings, because this is very important when you play La Pompe. So you can practice this progression with the basic modern La Pompe with only downstroke, or with the traditional La Pompe with the upstroke. And you can also play the complete accompaniment of minor swing, where you have A minor, D minor, E7, A minor, D minor, A minor, E7, A minor. Or you can enlarge each chord. So instead of playing A minor just like that, you can play the progression we did before. A minor, A, E over B, A minor over C, and goes back to A minor, and then the same for D minor. And E7 will play the same. We keep E7. So all together, 1, 2, 3, and now D minor, E, and A minor, D minor, and E again, alright? You can also add E7, B flat 13, E7, and goes to A minor. Now the first thing I want to make sure, I add all the chords for you, and you have written them here below in the blog post, so you can make sure that you hit all the strings. Before we talk about how to hit only the strings that you want, I want to make sure you can hit all the strings. Work from your elbow, make your wrist loose. You see, my wrist is not stiff, is not locked. I have this band, you know, slightly bend, and then it makes it be much more free. And then I hit all the strings. Try to do it with the downstroke La Pompe and with the traditional La Pompe as well. This is the downstroke. You can also add all the chords. Make sure you hit all the strings all the time. Or the traditional with the upstrokes. But make sure you hit all the strings. Okay, now that you practice it a little bit and you make sure you hit all the strings all the time, it means that you hear together. You need to hear the bass and the upper string all the time. You see, you hear this together with this. I will play an example for you because the most common problem with students is that they don't hit all the strings all the time, and then sometimes the bass disappear or the high note disappear. I will show it to you now, and you listen. Try to make sure you don't do it yourself. Sometimes bass, sometimes upper notes. You see, it changes all the time, so you need to make sure it's not the same with you, because this is a very common problem. You want to have a very accurate sound all the time. See? Also, when you play the chord progression. Let's take a progression in the 5th string and let's see how we play it on the 5th string and omitting the 6th string. We'll take the chord of D minor 6. D, F, B and F. If we want to expand it, we do the same thing one tone above. And then ring, index, middle, index, index. You can also add the pinky here if you want. And then you have D minor, A7 over E, and D minor over F, which are all for D minor. It works. Now one way is to mute the 6th string with this finger, you see? Or even press it. So you have a note there, but if you want to omit it, you can mute it, or you can make sure that your pick doesn't touch the sixth string, that the sixth string is not in the direction of your pick. So you see that if I play from above, I hit all the strings, but I can also play with a little angle from the side, and then my sixth string is not in the direction of my strings at all. I cannot hit it even if I want. I cannot hit it because I come from the side. You see, it's not from above, and then the sixth string is there. It's from the side, and I know how to do it, so it gets only on my fifth string, and then I don't need to take care of my sixth string because I don't touch it. Alright? Same thing when I play over the fourth string. I have chord over the fourth strings, and I leave these two strings open so they ring. If I touch them, they play. And I make sure that when I play with my hand, I'm not coming from above and then I hit all the strings as you hear now. I'm coming from the side with an angle, and my fourth and sixth strings are not in my direction. You see, it's not from here so far, it's from here, but they are not in the direction. I'm here, but you see, my pick land only on this fourth string. You see, I almost don't touch the lower two strings. They were open. So they may ring, a little bit, but it's not like... You hear the mess? No, I can play from the side. Now after you play minor swing and you make sure that you hit all the strings when you play, now start to work on the exercises to play only the strings that you want. The first exercise is over the chord of A minor. Even if you do modern or traditional, make sure you hit all the strings as we discussed before. Then over D minor, you have the same progression from the fifth string. Modern or traditional. So, my ring finger is automatically touch the sixth string, which mute it from vibration as well. But I also don't touch it as I showed you before with my pick. And then you have the progression with your four strings. So A minor 6, it's E7 and 9 over G sharp. Both are the half diminished shapes of F sharp and G sharp, but for me it's like A minor 6 from F sharp and G and E9 from G sharp, and then A minor 6 again here. So this would be the most hard and most important for you when you have only 4 strings. You see, I hit the 5th string, so it doesn't matter if it happens once here and there, but most important that it won't be like ringing all the time. And again, you can, to make sure, you can also mute the 5th string with your index. So when I play here my index mute the 5th strings. So I'm safe with the 5th string as well. and I need to take care only not to hit the 6th string, so it makes life easier, right? If I do it like that and hit it and mute it here, you can also mute the 6th string with your middle finger here, and then you don't need to take care about that. You can hit all the strings when you play. But here I won't be able to do this chord. So if I want to do this chord, I must know how to make sure I don't hit the 6th string. To sum it up, there are two ways to omit strings that you don't want to hit. One is to mute them, and the second is to come with your pick from the side, and then you don't have to worry about it at all. I combine both of the methods, and what else you can do now is make fun with minor swing and with the chord shapes I showed you. Mix the traditional and modern La Pompe, mix the variation of chords, and have fun with playing La Pompe for minor swing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and... Mastering La Pompe takes time. You need to practice a lot until you can really have the swinging feel of gypsy jazz. But the most important thing is that you enjoy the process. I hope you enjoyed this lesson and that it gave you some tips that you can implement in your playing, and I'll see you as always in the next lesson. Bye bye.